we do have on the line Lori Lindsey. How you doing tonight, Lori?
I'm great. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Good. Pretty exciting last week. I know you were doing a lot of talking and running around, and I'm sure you're enjoying and relaxing a little bit today.
Yeah, actually, I'm headed out I just got back from Philly. Obviously, what you're talking about is the convention. And then I'm leaving for Colorado for like 36 hours tomorrow. So it's been awesome, though.
Wow. So what will you be doing in Colorado?
Actually giving another speech to a bunch of high schoolers kind of about my journey as a footballer and a lot of the stuff I spoke about at the women's breakfast on Saturday. So same type of deal.
And Lori, this is John. I just want to apologize that I did tell you, hey, I'll have you on in 3 to 5 minutes, and I just came right back with you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I caught you by surprise on there.
Little radio lingo.
No. I was waiting just any time, so no
awesome.
problem.
So you just left Philly and you're on the road now?
Well, I'm at home in D.C. I
Okay.
left Philly yesterday afternoon, but yeah, leaving for Colorado tomorrow afternoon.
That's awesome. So, yeah, it was great having you be the featured speaker at the Coaches of Women's Soccer on Saturday. I mean, it really, it's an honor to go to that event. So many big names go up on that stage. I mean, I'm sure you've done a lot of speaking, but is there any nerves going up and speaking in front of people? Because I've heard that some players get nervous speaking in front of people, but they're okay playing in World Cups.
Yeah, that's a great question because obviously, the soccer world's small, but I had quite a few good friends at the convention, and one in particular was Yael Averbush, and we were just chatting about how, as athletes and soccer players in particular, you want to be perfect, right? And a lot of times with public speaking, it's not that way. And neither is soccer. But for years and years, you're practicing soccer, and then it's like all of a sudden, I've kind of not got thrust into public speaking. It's what I want to do, and I'm really enjoying it. But it's taken a lot of practice as well. But sometimes I want it to be so perfect that it takes away from my personality. So I've just tried to really kind of practice and then let it go. And so to really answer your question on Saturday, yeah, there's definitely nerves, but I really respect a lot of all those women that are that were in the audience and men as well. And it was just like a lovely group of people who love football and are excited about it. So when I was asked over a month ago to do it, I was like, hell yeah, count me in right now. It's such an honor.
No, it's a great breakfast. It's a great event. There's just like the who's a who that works in women's soccer is always there. And wanted to touch base on what you did this past year with hiking up Mount Kilimanjaro with equal playing field and playing what I heard was the world record for the highest played soccer/football match in the world at 18,500 feet. How did that all come to be?
I know, crazy stuff, right? When I talk about it, I just laugh. Really, how it came to be was these two awesome women who came together, and Erin Blankenship and Laura Youngson are their names. And Laura Youngson is from England, and Erin's from here, but she lives overseas. And the two of them just really wanted to continue the conversation off of equal play, equal pay. And so they started Equal Playing Field and just started gathering their buddies together saying, hey, we have this kind of crazy idea about climbing Mount Kilimanjaro and playing the highest altitude match ever played. And so their buddies started joining, and then just kind of started gaining traction from there. And some European footballers joined in. And then I actually got connected via a great friend of mine and former teammate, Ann Schuchleys, and she was pregnant at the time, so she couldn't do it, but put me in touch with them. And, again, it was about 5 weeks out from the actual climb, and I was like, count me in. This sounds awesome. I seem to do that a lot. But, yeah, it was 25 countries represented, 6 different continents. We climbed for 7 days, the last 2 being the most grueling because we climbed through the night, and obviously the altitude and the weather essentially turned freezing. And then it was the best way for me to describe it is beach soccer at the highest altitude you could ever imagine, because it was on this crater just 800 meters shy of the summit, and there was quite a bit of sand. And so it was people regulated everything. All of the dimensions were set out, and we had FIFA referees And it was the most amazing experience and the worst soccer you could ever imagine, but it was incredible. So.
Wow. And you said, like you said in the session, that it was, officially laid out. There was a photo. I did post it on some of my social medias. I'll repost the photo out there for everybody to see that you guys laid out the field, and it was 11v11 and 90 minutes. How many subs did you guys have?
I think each team had about three.
Oh,
three to
man.
four subs. Yeah. And we definitely, obviously everyone played. And
Yeah.
And I will just say, not that this is really needed, but to be clear, we aren't the ones that did the dimensions of the field. We had 300 porters with us.
Yeah.
We were the largest group to ever go up Kilimanjaro. And in total, besides the 35 players, we had about 65 in our group, and that included medical staff and everything to ensure that we were safe going up. But we had some awesome people that helped lay out the field besides the 300 porters that helped us on our entire journey. So we slept for an hour and a half while they put that together, and then played. But yeah, it was incredible.
So what's the recovery like for something like that? And you do something like that because you're up there. It's not like you can go sit in the hot tub or ice bath.
Oh, okay. Well, so we played in this game, right? So the last night, I'll just say this. So leading up to the game, we stayed about 4 to 5 hours away from the crater.
Okay.
So in terms of hiking up, so all of our tents were tied together because it was freezing and it was so windy. And then we left at 2 a.m. to hike through the night for 5 hours to get to the crater. And then we played an hour-and-a-half match, and then we only had about 800 meters. So obviously everyone knows that's 2 laps around the track, right?
Yeah.
That shouldn't take that long to get up to the summit.
Jeez.
It was like an hour and a half later. And honestly, there was periods of time when, if anybody knows me after a soccer game, they know that my uniform always looks like a different color because I was such a sweater. Well, I was sweating underneath all of my clothes. Essentially, I was like, go on without me. Like, I was not in a great place. Some people were a lot better than others with the altitude change, but I wasn't feeling my best. So by the time we got up to the summit, I was like, take my picture with a sign, and then it was like hauled ass down and it only took us 2 hours to get back down to our base camp. But yeah, 7 days of hiking or climbing up, and then you take 2 days to get down. It's super quick, and you go through a totally different climate of like rainforest, and it's just totally different. It's weird. It's dry and windy on the way up, and then rainforest and rainy on the way down. So it's quite the experience.
Making me and John feel very lazy here in studio.
No, this is what I say. I say that anybody could, if you're, if you are in fairly decent shape, I really believe anybody can do it if you do have a decent aerobic base. But it's just it's just about taking your time.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. With the 7 days, the longest trek up. So you ascend and then descend a little bit so you get adjusted, and then ascend some more and then descend. So it's really just about getting adjusted to the altitude. The trek itself, besides the last 2 days, isn't too terrible. So you guys are fine. I say try it this summer.
All right, I'll get you to sign on with that. I don't need to see my doctor getting medical clearance. Lindsey cleared me. So
Perfect.
I want to talk about some of the things you're doing back in the Washington, D.C., Virginia area. You're still working with the Washington Spirit, doing work with them. Let's tell the listeners out there what you're doing with the club now.
Yeah, so I'm work with the Washington Spirit Developmental Academy. The girls just started that up this fall, and that's been an awesome experience. We actually have 2 prongs, essentially. We have a Virginia side and a Maryland side, and I do the strength and conditioning for the Virginia side. So I'm out in the field a couple times a week, and just helping take care of the players and giving them some pointers on helping them become better athletes so that they can stay on the field and just increase their longevity for the most part. So it's been great. It's been great working with the athletes and kind of see today's player and really just see the evolution of women's soccer and how it's grown even since I was playing youth soccer. So it's a good way for me to pay it forward.
Yeah, you're one of a few players, and it blows my mind, because you appear so young, but that you've played in all 3 of the professional leagues. And I mean, do you ever look back and say, gosh, that's kind of an achievement?
Oh, yeah. Sometimes I love saying it because I'm extremely proud of that accomplishment, especially with the Christy Rampone and Abby Wambach and Shannon Bax are the other three, because there's four of us. And, I mean, I'm in great company with that. But I just think that shows, the longevity of each of our careers, all four of us, and the work that we put in. So, again, I'm really proud of that. But sometimes I'm like, shit, I don't really want to say it. Sorry, I'm cussing on this show, but crap, I don't want to say it.
Whatever. The show's canceled now, so you might as well just, you're already in deep, so.
I'm like, I don't want to say it out loud that I'm one of four players that played in all three leagues, because, that dates me. I'm trying to stay young.
Yeah, because trust me, once my players found out I was 40, my youth player, they started calling you old head. Like, yeah, Coach Old Head, and I'm like, great, So, but no, I mean, it's amazing what you're doing and staying in shape, and just, all that you did for the game is great. And the fact that you were here in Philly for a couple years, I'm sure you've always got a special spot. I mean, being that you played in every pro league, you lived in a lot of different places. What were some of your fond memories of Philadelphia?
What are my fond memories? I'll tell you, the very first year of Philadelphia, back in 2010, a couple of things. In preseason, we kind of took a tour of downtown, and we stopped at all the different cheesesteaks places and sampled all of them. So that was awesome. I'd had them many times prior, as one of my best friends in college was from Philly. So, but that was a good time. But the thing that I remember most is, especially that first year, we were an expansion team, and we kind of dubbed ourselves the Bad News Bears of the league, just because we kind of throw us together at the last minute. But we had some amazing players. I mean, Amy Rodriguez, Caroline Sager, Heather Mitz, Karina LeBlanc. I mean, we had a really good, solid group. It was just, we called ourselves the Bad News Bears because we were just kind of thrown together at the last minute. And at that point in time, besides in club soccer, I felt like Paul Riley was kind of unknown as a coach, especially it was his first time coaching in the pro ranks. So, but we came together, and we had a great season, and going to the finals. Lost badly to the San Francisco team in the final, but that was a highlight. All of us getting together and coming together and just having a great season.
So, Laura, we're going to take a little trip back memory lane. We got an interview queued up of you back in 2013. So we're just going to play it, and so you can see how your public speaking is from then to now. It's going to give you a little clip of you.
All right, sounds good.
The fans have been awesome this season, even when we went through major drought of losing games and stuff, and then they showed up huge tonight. And that was they were like the 12th man for us. But yeah, we put a good performance. I think that was one of our better performances all year, and we got a little momentum after Wednesday's win. And we match up well against Seattle. I think they really try to play, and I think we try to play sometimes, or a lot of the time, and so we match up well. So that was a good game for us.
So there you go, back in 2013.
You can critique yourself there.
Goodness, I don't know, but I'd like to become the 12th man. That was good.
There you go. You always got to reach out to the fans. That's what I've learned in sports. If you back the fans, they back you, man.
Absolutely.
You never say negative about the home fans, even if you don't like them.
Absolutely.
So what's the day-to-day changing? You're going from being a professional athlete. You like you told me the stories that you were telling us during the speech about you getting up and shoveling your backyard, cleaning it up with snow just so you could have room to run sprints to get ready for the season. That I'm sure that those habits don't change, like getting up at 5 and going to the gym. I mean, you do seem like a gym rat. It appears that you are. Do you still have you still have those habits where you still you have those goals to just keep fit?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that's a lot of it's just for me. I enjoyed that part of the game of trying to improve my athleticism and maximize my athleticism on the field as much as possible. And kind of mentioned that speech. I'm from Indiana, and I don't think anybody thinks of Indiana as a soccer hotbed. So for me, it was always about finding ways to improve and improve my game. And so I really fell in love with kind of the athletic development side of it. And, I think, you definitely continue to have a lot of those similar traits that you had when you were playing and being committed to what you're doing and putting your all into it. And I think it just changes in the fact that, like, it's tough because a lot of people don't talk about it. It is challenging, though, to go from playing for so many years to not, because that is your identity and that's what you know. But at the same time, it's like it's finding something else that you love, right, and continuing that on and how to give back. So slowly but surely I'm finding my way in that regard. But the gym is the one thing that helps keep me together. So
yeah, because I'm sure you have that competitive or you want to compete, and it's something that I've had to deal with over the years, that even if it's just like a friendly rec league or just kicking the ball around, you still have that desire to compete and win. And do you have any of those? Do you still play like any pickup leagues or just kick the ball around with friends?
Yeah, I definitely do. And I was for the first few years, too. I was playing in the Sunday league. But I found that I was like, it was tough for me to not be super competitive and then also go out there and play. And then what was happening was I was gone a lot, and I was like, I just want my Sundays to chill out. So I don't play as much. I mean, I still touch the ball like every week, being with the Washington Spirit DA and helping them out. But I'm not playing in any leagues or anything right now, just mainly working out on my own and that kind of stuff. But you're right. I mean, you do want to compete. You do. And there's something to be said about trying to, I mean, in many regards, I feel like I was very successful with my soccer, and it's like, okay, now what? And you want to find something that you can be just as successful at, but it takes time. So
looking back and playing for the USA, what's probably your best memory of putting on the USA jersey?
Oh, I would say that 2011 World Cup. And I think the reason why I say the 2011 World Cup, I mean, we lost in the final to Japan, and we should have never have lost that game. But I always tell this story, and I'll keep it brief. But before we left for that 2011 World Cup, we played in, back up a little bit. I think ever since, like, the 99 World Cup, we've had some peaks and valleys, right, with women's soccer. So it's like whenever it's around a championship, there's a growing interest about the game and the women's game specifically, and then it'll die off a little bit. And we saw that with, like, the ebbs and flows of the pro leagues that we had. And then we get to 2011. Prior to us, we played a send-off match at Red Bull Arena against Mexico, and there's about 5,000 fans. And then it just so happens that, in the game against Brazil in the quarterfinals, which we almost lost, and we're going to be the first American team, U.S. women's team, to be out before the earliest stages.
Yeah.
And we came back, and Abby scored the goal, and we went in PKs. It was just crazy. And it just so happened that here in the United States, I think baseball was on strike, basketball had just finished. There was like no other sport going on, right? And so everybody ended up watching that game and just going freaking bonkers for us. And since that 2011 World Cup, I don't think we've played in front of fewer than 15,000 fans. And it really just set the stage for women's soccer, and we just haven't looked back. And then 2012 Olympics, obviously, and then 2015 was huge as well. So, I mean, it's just really given us a huge boost and leverage to push the game forward. Yeah,
I think that 2011 World Cup, very unfortunate you guys didn't win it all, but I think that's when I started really realizing that soccer had arrived. I went to my local Irish pub with a bunch of friends, and we couldn't find a seat. And we were there 2 hours before the match, and it was like wall-to-wall people just supporting their country. And I think that's the biggest thing and the biggest message that I try to get out when I support women's soccer. No, you're supporting your fellow countrymates, that they're out there playing for our country. And since then, it has become a big deal for a lot of these pubs that are showing English games on the weekend that, hey, a Women's World Cup, you don't have to, like, go ask the person to put it on the TV. It's already on. And, I mean, that was just the amount of support, that we had, and just watching from back home, and all watch parties, things that we would have never even heard of as kids. We didn't even have soccer men or women on TV, but now it's to the point where people are forming organizations. So, but no, it was very fun to watch, and really appreciate everything you've done for the game.
Oh, thank you very much, and I appreciate you guys. This is awesome.
Well, we want to thank you for coming on the show, and wish you the best of luck in Colorado. So we'll have to keep critiquing you, and we'll keep seeing you getting better and better, and then you might have to charge to come on our show. So
yeah, I'm starting to get into some commentating, so you guys can critique as much as you want.
Yeah, we were talking about that before we called you in, about there's a lot of issues in commentating. You'll get a media guide that says the name is pronounced one way, and then the fans will tell you it's pronounced another way, and then you just have to go over to the player. I just learned, me and John throughout the year, just go to the player and ask them directly You know,
Okay, I
so,
love it.
yeah,
That's
so
a good tip. That's a good tip.
yep,
I like
exactly. Well, everybody, this is Lori Lindsey on World Sports Show. Thank you for calling into the show, Lori. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys. Take care, and thanks for having me.
No problem.
All right, bye-bye.
So that was Lori Lindsey on the show. She was recently featured at the United Soccer Coaches Breakfast for Coaches of Women's Soccer. She was a featured speaker, you know, recently hiked up to top of Mount Kilimanjaro with equal playing field, played a full-size 11v11 FIFA match. So it wasn't like just like basketball or ice hockey where people were getting subbed in and out, like the 3 sub rule and stuff.
I mean, I complain when I got to drive down to South Philly for a match, let alone climb a mountain.
I got to drive 20 miles in my car today. I got to push that pedal.
It makes me take a step back now. you
Yeah,
know?
me and you were huffing and puffing after 10 minutes of futsal.
Yeah, very good interview.
Yeah, dude,
very
spot
good,
on.
Very good memories of that World Cup team, that Philadelphia Independence team. Very good guest of the show. She's always been more than willing to come on and
Man,
and
great
talk
news
the
that she'll be
game.
doing the commentative. You know, I definitely, realized that interviewed Lori a lot, because she was a good interview. You have players that are good at interviews, and, really started making me think that some players are just, they've got, multiple talents. They've got a lot of different skills, but some players just don't interview very well. And we've noticed that. It's nothing against them. It's just.
Thank you for watching a World Sports Show production. For more info, go to worldsportsshow.com.